Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Well, Brian O'Sullivan, a former winner of the EY Entrepreneur of the Year, recently announced that his company Zeus Packaging would be the new sponsor of Cork City Football Club. This would have been music to the ears of its new owner and our final guest this morning, Dermot Usher. But Dermot, when did you first become involved in the world of business?
Hi, Karl. Thanks for having me on. Well, unfortunately, my dad died when I was 23. He had his own business, a bathroom distribution business. And at 21, unfortunately, he got sick. And I said to him that I was off doing my own thing. And I said to him at that time, going to give me a dig out. So I said, yeah. So he said, yeah. So that's how I ended up in the business. And then unfortunately, when I was 23, I said he passed away. And I literally took over from then.
And what was the greatest business lesson that your father taught you?
Do the right thing. Just that's the mantra, and it's still a mantra that I have today. Is my dad was a really good person, good honourable man, and that was it. Just keep it simple and just do the right thing.
And have you had occasions where that has been a difficult choice to make?
I suppose even as it is now, like we've made a decision even in Cork City not to accept any gambling sponsorship, for example. I don't think it's appropriate, and we have had, since I've come in, I think we've been approached by probably 4 gambling companies, to look for sponsorship. And some of those gambling sponsorships can be quite sizable. And we haven't even entertained conversations with them. So that's my belief in doing the right thing.
You have previously built a very successful bathroom business, SONAS. So what factors contributed to its success?
Yeah, I think at the start it was an importer and distributor. And I think in the latter years we've developed into I was described as a manufacturer. So we basically now got to the point now where we've so much product that's designed by ourselves in-house, as product managers. We design the product, we do all the artwork, everything is designed from an IP point of view, and then we source the product from different manufacturers to get it made around the world. And that was the big change that the business has made in the last number of years. And then obviously from a brand point of view, we don't sell anybody else's brand. Everything is our own product now.
And what led you to adapting that business model?
I think, first of all, it allowed us to be in control of our own destiny. When you're a traditional distributor, you're always relying on supply from the manufacturer, the branded manufacturer. A lot of it's just a traditional way of selling. While with the model that we had, it's very much our own product. We're far more agile as a company, far more. I suppose we can make decisions far quicker, and our destiny is in our own hands.
And why did you opt for a route to market through retailers as opposed to going direct to consumer?
Well, we've always sold through retailers, and that model won't change. That's where our first relationship has always been. And what that allows us to do then is to build relationships with building developers, with the end user. So look, we're always able to point everybody back to a retailer. They're a very, very strong part of what our business is. They've been our supporters from day one. So I think that, but everybody is our customer. That's the way we look at it. So for example, we back sell all the time, in that we will, have conversations and relationships with developers, with, homeowners who are renovating, people who are doing a few one-off houses, and we're perfectly happy. We'll talk to everybody, but the invoice always gets put back through the retail shop.
And were you ever tempted to go direct and to cut out the middleman, in this case the retailer?
On the island of Ireland, our reach is through 400 to 500 retail shops. And you get a lot of developers, for example, who bathrooms is one product that they buy, but they buy lots of building materials off certain hardware shops and stuff like that as well. So it really just makes sense for us to keep doing that.
A number of years ago, you decided to take private equity investment into the business. What was the rationale for that at the time?
It allowed an opportunity for my brother and my mum at that time to exit the business. My mum would have had a pretty small shareholding, but my brother was an equal partner with myself in the business, and he had wanted out probably for quite some time, and it facilitated that to happen.
And why did you select MML as your private equity partner?
I went through an interview process with a number of different people, private equity in particular, and they were interviewing me, but actually I was also interviewing them too. Like, if you're going to get into bed with somebody, you want to just make sure that you're comfortable with the people, with the people you're going to get involved with, from a trust point of view, that we're all on the same page as regards the particular strategy. just that you feel you can deal with these people. And thankfully, that's turned out to be absolutely the case. Neil McGowan, in particular, was the lead through MML, and they were really they have been and still are fantastic to deal with.
And how has MML aided the growth of the business since then?
I think for them, I think it helped put a bit more structure. It actually just for it's almost a support to myself and the management team at the time as well. We got probably better, clearer direction as regards where we wanted to go. Obviously, the brand of SONAS Bathrooms in particular has grown in the last number of years, and that's down to the company, but also down to the support of MML and maybe some direction from them on that. And now the next phase of the business is to move into the UK.
And is it your plan to operate through retailers in the UK market also?
Yeah, exact same model as we have here. We already have 4 salespeople on the ground now in England, and then we're looking at an acquisition at the moment as well.
You recently came out of retirement to purchase and run Cork City Football Club, but how did this opportunity come before you?
I got a phone call off Mark Scanlon, who's the head of the League of Ireland, and I've a pretty good relationship with Mark, and he would have known for a number of years that I had an interest in getting involved with something. Most of the other interest that I've had, it was always on the basis of maybe getting involved with a few lads or a few people to put some money into something, have a bit of fun with something along the way. And this was the only one then that came along that I felt, wow, I could actually do this one on my own, and the numbers made sense to do it.
And what appealed to you about this particular venture?
I think the size and the scale of it, I think it was, with no disrespect to Cove Ramblers, sort of one team, one club, one county. I just think the business community that's in Cork, and that's even look at the sponsors that are on board as well. Like Zeus have obviously come on board just before Christmas. That was announced, and they're that's Brian O'Sullivan. Is the man behind Zeus. He's a Cork man, and they've been a fantastic support. So when you've got people like that on board, it just makes sense.
And what is your vision for the club over the coming years? And more importantly, how do you intend to realise it?
There's a number of visions, I suppose. Obviously, from a fan point of view, I've been very open, social media around the fan experience, and there's a number of changes have already happened in Turner's Cross. MFA have been really good to have good support to us as well. So a new scoreboard has gone in. And these might sound like small things, but the things that weren't there before. So scoreboard has gone in. There's a temporary sound system in now with a view to putting in a permanent upgraded sound system. The toilet facilities will be done. An upgrade will going to be done on those on the 12th of June. That's a 3-week process. They're probably the first 3 main key things for this year. Then I'm looking, towards the second half of the year, we'll be looking at, the whole food offering that we have in the ground, the whole way the ground is laid out, where there's probably some restrictions there as well as regards what we can and can't do. The clothing offering, I think needs, we can do better. So there's different areas of the businesses that separating out, and we're looking at them each on their own merits. And that would also include academy structures, but also academy that we do on a Sunday, Corky camps, which were small kids summer camps. There's lots of different aspects to the business. It's not just putting out the men's first team on a Friday night. Like last night, I was down in Limerick, supporting the women's team, and that's a huge growth area for the club going forward. And even seeing underage girls seem to come through, that's an area of focus for us as well.
Dermot, I get the feeling that owning Cork City Football Club is more than just about making the profit for you.
I completely, like anyone say, like if I was coming on air saying I'm looking to make a fortune out of this, I should be locked up. It just wouldn't make sense. It just wouldn't make sense. So look, can you make money out of it? Potentially you can if a few things go your way. But I think sustainability is probably the word I'd use, and that's sustainability both on and off the pitch. And off the pitch will drive sustainability on the pitch as well.
And how do you expect that running a football club will differ from that of running a business like SONAS?
Everybody has told me that it's different, and my experience to date is that it's not different, because at the end of the day, you're dealing with people and you're dealing with business. It's down to strategy. There's certain nuances around a football club. Social media in particular is way stronger than maybe in other aspects of what I'm used to. For example, with say SONAS Bathrooms, it's a lot more maybe volatile if results don't go your way. But that's no different really to just needs to be managed. I like to think that I'm approachable and I've been pretty upfront with people. The fan base, they're the customers at the end of the day, and I've been pretty. We had a meeting last Saturday, in a place in Cork to meet some of the supporters. 30 people showed up, and we had a great meeting to try and solve a particular problem on match days. So just fan engagement is really important. Yeah.
Of course, many will say that sport can be more of an art than a science at times. Is that of any concern to you?
I actually don't see any difference, in a way, because, if I'm, as a SONAS trading business where you're selling a product, you're employing salespeople. You need to make sure you've got the right people on the ground, right product knowledge. The same way that, when it comes to pick and choosing players and stuff as well, that you've got the right systems in place for player selection, right attitude, right level of ability. And then it's up to them to deliver on the pitch the same way that I'm looking for a salesperson to deliver, for SONAS as well.
Of course, you came out of retirement to run Cork City Football Club. So how long do you plan to stay at the helm?
I don't have an end date in this. I'll do it as long as I'm enjoying it, and I'll be honest with you, I'm loving it. I'm back. I was perfectly happy retired pretty much for the last 2 years, playing a bit of golf. I was happy doing nothing as well, just taking a bit of time out, and then I'm back working 5 days a week.
And finally, you remain on as a non-executive director of SONAS. Are you planning to take on any other non-executive roles, or indeed, have you any interest in developing any other business interests?
I certainly don't expect myself to come back in with another business venture on my own. I think, if there's different investment opportunities and I can sit non-exec on a board and have an input regarding maybe strategy and stuff like that, well then that's a separate conversation. But myself directly starting up a new business, no, I don't envisage. But I didn't envisage myself owning Cork City 6 months ago as well. So things can change.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Dermot Usher, the new owner of Cork City Football Club, and we hope that he enjoys good results with his latest venture, both on and off the pitch.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.